All right, let's dig into this. For ages, it felt like business success was purely about the numbers.
Yeah, the hard stuff, right. Strategy, finance, operations.
Exactly, that whole traditional approach.
Yeah.
But what if the real key, the secret sauce maybe, isn't just market forces?
What if it's something deeper?
Yeah, like understanding the human mind itself, how people actually tick within an organization. So today, we're doing a deep dive into this really fascinating shift happening in the corporate world.
Okay.
We're looking at how psychology is, well, fundamentally redefining modern business leadership. And maybe exploring why understanding that human side of organizations isn't just, a soft skill anymore.
Right, not just a nice to have.
No, it's actually becoming a critical driver for, truly sustainable success.
That's exactly right. And we've got some really insightful material that kind of maps out this whole evolution.
Good.
It shows this pretty profound shift in how we think about what makes a business, really excel.
So what's our mission here with this stuff?
Well, our goal is basically to guide you through these sources. We want to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge, maybe some surprising insights too, so you can quickly get a handle on why having healthy, motivated, high-performing people, why that's now undeniably at the heart of the best businesses out there.
Makes sense. So if we think back, traditional business school, it was really steeped in the numbers, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Heavy on finance, operations, strategic planning. That was the core curriculum.
You learned balance sheets, supply chains, market analysis. It was all about those tangible metrics you could, point to.
Right. And what's so interesting is how that kind of rigid focus has broadened out.
How so?
Well, business psychology has popped up as this real in-demand field now.
Okay.
It's specifically about integrating psychological principles to deal with that human element in companies. So today's leaders, they can't just understand market dynamics. That's not enough anymore.
Right.
They also need to grasp things like cognitive biases, how those shape decisions, or the principles of psychological safety, which really influence the whole culture of a place, and how intrinsic motivation works, what really drives team performance.
And it really just hammers home this core idea, doesn't it? That sustainable business success actually depends on having healthy, motivated, high-performing people.
Exactly. It's not a perk anymore.
No, it's foundational. It links directly to the bottom line.
Absolutely. And at its heart, business psychology is really trying to bridge that gap.
What gap is that?
The one between the organization's big strategic goals and, the complex needs, the motivations, the overall well-being of its actual people.
Oh, okay.
It's about making sure those business goals aren't just ideas on paper,
Right.
but that they're actually lined up with the folks who have to make them happen day to day.
So, okay, the landscape's shifted. What does this actually look like for leaders, on the ground? What are the practical upsides of getting these skills?
Oh, the benefits are pretty profound, actually. Leaders who have those job-ready skills management, leadership, and psychology, they can create teams that are genuinely healthier, happier, and critically, they can align those teams directly with the key business goals.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Imagine a leader who sees friction in their team. Instead of just saying, oh, they don't get along, they might recognize it as maybe a lack of psychological safety. And then, crucially, they know how to apply a proven method, a psychological technique, to actually rebuild that trust.
Right. That's much more strategic. And thinking bigger, this isn't just about fixing one team's dynamics, is it?
No, not at all. When you focus on things like team motivation or resolving conflict effectively or organizational development, it empowers leaders to fundamentally transform how the whole organization operates and collaborates.
So it creates this lasting impact.
Exactly. Far beyond just the immediate task list, it actually changes the entire ecosystem, the way people interact and work together.
I'm curious, though. For a long time, this stuff felt like it belonged purely in HR's domain.
Yeah, that was the perception.
So how are these psychological insights now becoming powerful tools that shape broader leadership approaches and, maybe most importantly, actual business outcomes?
It's really about direct application now. It's moving beyond theory.
Okay.
So by exploring organizational psychology, which is basically the science behind how people behave at work and understanding decision-making, leaders can put some incredibly effective strategies into practice.
Like what?
Well, take coaching, for instance. A leader who understands psychology might use something like motivational interviewing.
Okay, what's that?
It's a way to help an employee find their own solutions, tap into their own drive, instead of the leader just dictating tasks.
More empowering.
Exactly. Or think about change management, a tough one, right?
Yeah, always.
A leader might use the concept of loss aversion, the idea that people feel losses more strongly than gains, to anticipate resistance. And then they can frame the transition differently, maybe emphasizing what's being gained or mitigating the sense of loss. These aren't just abstract ideas, they're concrete tools you can use.
So what this really boils down to then is that leaders who can blend that solid business sense, financial literacy, strategic planning.
Yeah, the traditional stuff.
Right. Blend that with a deep understanding of workplace behavior. Oh, they're just uniquely positioned to drive real positive change.
Absolutely. It's about connecting the analytical, the what, with the empathetic, the why and how for people.
And that combination seems even more vital now, considering the business environment we're in.
Oh, definitely. It's dynamic, it's complex, often totally unpredictable.
Right.
The old playbooks, the ones just focused on static numbers and predictable markets, they just don't always cut it anymore, do they?
Not really. Which is why that ability for a leader to analyze organizational change and then implement supportive framework structures that actually empower people and teams to adapt and thrive through it all.
Yeah.
That seems paramount.
It is.
But what does that actually look like? How do those frameworks create resilience from the inside?
Well, it means making decisions that really recognize how interconnected everything is in a business.
Okay.
So take financial decisions, for example. If they're made with a clear understanding of the impact on employee well-being and the overall cultural health.
Like not just looking at the spreadsheet.
Exactly. Maybe avoiding those sudden morale-killing layoffs as possible, perhaps opting for more transparent, phased restructuring instead.
Right.
When you do that, organizations become far more resilient. They're just better equipped to navigate bumpy roads without sacrificing performance or morale.
Why is that?
Because their people feel more secure, more engaged. They're not constantly living in fear, waiting for the other shoe to drop. They can focus on adapting.
That makes a lot of sense. And this shift, this focus on psychology, it even extends to the physical spaces we work in, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Business psychology definitely applies to creating optimal work environments, places that genuinely boost productivity and well-being.
So it's about consciously designing for people to flourish.
Precisely. Not just, fitting bodies into cubicles efficiently.
And this seems like where things like diversity management and inclusive leadership really come into play.
Exactly. That becomes absolutely vital here. It's about intentionally cultivating workplaces where all employees feel genuinely valued, engaged, because their unique perspectives are actively sought out and actually integrated into how things are done.
It's not just ticking a box.
No, not at all. It's about recognizing the real psychological benefit of belonging, of feeling seen and heard. Some companies are famous for this.
Yeah.
Like, think about Pixar designing their offices to encourage accidental collisions, those spontaneous interactions between people from different teams.
Right, to spark creativity.
Exactly. That's directly applying social psychology principles to the physical workspace design.
And is there a measurable impact from all this? Can we actually see the results?
Yeah, we definitely can. We're seeing it in specific specializations now, like workplace design. Think about how intentional changes to layout, light, noise levels can measurably reduce stress and increase collaboration.
Which leads to productivity gains.
Right. Or think about cultural transformation initiatives. When done well, focusing on psychological safety and inclusion, they can demonstrably reduce employee turnover.
Which saves money and builds stronger teams.
Precisely. We've seen cases where turnover drops significantly, maybe 15%, directly impacting recruitment costs and boosting team cohesion. So these aren't just fuzzy concepts. These are becoming defined roles influencing both the bottom line and the human experience at work.
Okay.
So ultimately, when you combine these deep psychological insights with that core business management expertise, you get this really powerful form of leadership. It's leadership that doesn't just chase financial success.
Right.
It also fosters an organizational culture where people and profits can genuinely thrive together. It's about creating that synergy, unlocking human potential.
So wrapping this up, what we've really explored today shows that the most successful businesses, well, they aren't just built on spreadsheets and 5-year plans anymore.
No, there's more to it.
It seems they're built on a deep, empathetic understanding of the human mind, recognizing its profound influence on everything, decision-making, creativity, team performance.
Yeah, it's like the unseen force, isn't it? Driving so much of what happens in an organization.
It really is.
And it seems pretty clear now that integrating these psychological principles isn't really an option anymore. It feels like a necessity.
A necessity for leaders who want what?
Well, for leaders aiming for sustainable growth, for building resilient teams, and for creating genuinely thriving cultures, places where both the financial goals and human well-being are truly paramount.
It's not either.
Exactly. This isn't just some passing trend. It feels like the future of effective, impactful leadership.
Okay, so after this deep dive, here's something for you, the listener, to think about. What single psychological insight from our discussion today, maybe it was about cognitive bias or psychological safety or motivation or even workplace design, what single thing could fundamentally change how you lead or how you collaborate with others?
That's a good question.
And maybe more importantly, how will you actually try to apply that insight, starting, say, this week?
Right. Making it actionable.
Exactly. That's your next step.